Welcome to the Modern Legacy Podcast, the show that's dedicated to to helping players, parents, coaches, and ambitious people reach their full potential, both on and off the pitch. Every week, we'll break down the biggest topics in Irish football, player development, coaching, performance, and everything that goes into long-term success. Expect honest conversations, practical advice, and insights you can apply straight away. The Modern Legacy Podcast is proudly sponsored by our sister brand, Questa Sports, your official teamwear partner, providing high quality custom sportswear for clubs, schools, and organizations across Ireland. If you're serious about improving, you're in the right place. Let's get into today's episode. Today we're going to be, topic today is going to be about how to train like an elite footballer. What an ideal training week looks like. Okay, so again, depending on what age you are, depending on what club you're playing for. Obviously, in Ireland, most grassroots teams only train once or twice a week. And then the academy players who are playing League of Ireland underage and stuff like that, most of their schedule seems to be between 2, 3, and some clubs are 4, I believe. For very rarely, but most of them are 2, 3. Yeah, again, it's all about whatever your teams are rolling out there. But obviously, it's a mixture of high load, low loads, and then obviously where you fit in to do your individual training, whether it be with a private academy or whether it be just by yourself. And you will need to be doing extras yourself to compete in the modern day football. So an ideal training week would look like training 4 or 5 times a week. But again, all depends on what clubs you're working with. But for me, an ideal training week would be, 4 to 5 training sessions a week.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like 3 to 5 would be kind of the range. Obviously, I think a lot of clubs have realised that especially youth and underage players, can't really give them the full pro treatment of training every day, because obviously they're looking at like they're still kids. They kind of have to have a bit of freedom in their lives, but they're still keeping them training. Most clubs, I think it's 3 or 4 days a week, which I still think is a huge thing, especially for young players, kind of 13, 14, 15, to be training 3 to 4 times a week at a top level is huge, because you're getting consistent quality, and then you're also balancing both. You're getting your strength and conditioning, your recovery sessions, and your high intensity interval sessions. So I feel like the balance of 3 to 4 sessions is huge, because you can kind of hit every aspect of what you need.
Yeah. And obviously, if you're not in academy teams or whatever, where the training week looks like once or twice, don't forget to go around and play in your garden. Those are all training contact time, in your gardens, or go kick around with your mates. But every day you should be doing something with the ball if you want to get better. So it doesn't have to be organized. It can be just you and your mates, or you by yourself, because if you're only just playing football once or twice or 3 times a week, you cannot become a professional. Do you know what I mean? So if your dream as a young kid is to become a professional footballer, you must be playing with the football every single day, organized or just randomly just kicking around in the park, Okay, balancing team training with individual work. The individual work, you can decide to do it yourself, or you can decide to hire experts to kind of help your child do that individual work and get to where they need to get to quicker. But a combination of individual or hybrid kind of training, of team training and individual training, you're onto a winner there if you get it right, What about yourself?
Yeah, I feel like the same thing. If you can nail on training individually and training with your club and your team, it's almost the perfect combination. Because obviously with your team, you're getting that team focus, but it's more tactical and like shape and all. Whereas if you can focus in and mix that in with individual training, you can improve on when you're not doing well, what you need to get better at. You can improve that there by yourself with an elite coach 1-to-1, and eventually it all comes together that your tactical knowledge of the game shoots off, but then your actual individual technique and talent flies off as well, and you get the best of both worlds.
And it doesn't have to be 1-to-1. Say, for example, we have academy group sessions, but we're individually folks in a group session, so we make sure every kid develops individually. So our sessions are not match based. Our sessions are individual based in a group environment, and that's where again, getting those academy sessions with what you're doing with your team, it's a perfect combination. The next one is speed, strength, technical, work, and recovery. What's your thoughts on those?
They're probably some of those vital things for football, especially the recovery aspect. It's pointless putting all this effort in and all this training in if you're not recovering, sleeping right, eating right to fuel your body up. If you're training and you're training unbelievably, but then you're going home and you're sitting on your PlayStation till 2 o'clock in the morning, having 5, 6 hours sleep, and then you're eating rolls from the deli, you're going to McDonald's, whatever, pizza, you're just kind of cancelling out all the hard work you've done, and you're taking yourself a step back then if you recovered properly and kept your nutrition well.
Brilliant, brilliant. Our sessions, anyways, have combination of speed work. We do a bit of strength work. We have a cycle of obviously the days that we do different things, speed work, strength work. We do have technical work. So all sessions should have that. And then obviously the recovery part of it is the players, the parents themselves, making sure that you eat the right food. You know what I mean? Like you said about sleep. Sleep is actually, I didn't realize how much sleep is key till I started wearing the Whoop watches, which kind of like measures your sleeps and stuff like that. And the success that you get from good quality sleep is incredible. So number one for me when it comes to recovery, start off with sleep and hydration and then take it from there, So sleep and nutrition, number one. I mean, like I said, I've now realized the metrics, obviously, since wearing the Whoop watches, and I realized, wow, this is huge for performance. So as an athlete, you need to be recording your sleep times, how much are you sleeping. If your child is younger and you're a parent, start encouraging them about the benefits of sleeping, So hopefully they can be able to understand the benefit. They can get about at least 7 hours sleep because it will help them on match days. They're going to be buzzing on match days on the weekend, and they're going to be buzzing in training. And then obviously making sure that if you are from a nutrition point of view, if you're giving them like a cheat day, it's after matches, not before matches. If you're going to bring them to Mackie D's, have like a good solid week, a good week of like eating well, not going to the chipper every day. What a waste of time. Because that athlete at some stage will suffer, the young kid. So my advice to parents, players and parents, is eat as much as you can. Make it maybe like an 80-20. 80% of the time you eat well, 20% of the time if you want to go dabble in different food or whatever. But if you're going to give them like that cheat meal, do it like a post-match kind of a thing, So not a pre-match, because it will affect, because you'll be like, my child didn't really play well today. Well, have you looked at it to sleep well? Did you give them like a takeaway before a match rather than after a match? So I'm not saying not to do it at all, but I'm saying you can do it after a match. Okay, and then we'll start back again on the Monday or whatever it is, What about yourself on the sleep and nutrition there, Ocean?
Yeah, I feel like they're the two main aspects of everything in life quality, your general mood, your sports, every single sport. Sleep and nutrition is the main key to improving and success, because without decent sleep, your body's not ready, your body hasn't recovered properly, so it can't give 100% effort. And then in nutrition as well, the nutrition fills that body and fuels it to allow it to exert max effort and all that. So you have to balance the both of them. And like you said, they're 80-20 split, kind of 80% of the week you're eating good, you're fueling your body properly. And then 20% you can kind of allow yourself to set back and enjoy whatever, the pizza, the burger. But you have to have that balance there.
Yeah, training isn't always better. Smart training is always better. Smart training, tailor training, your coach or whoever it is should be able to map up the week. Smart training, plan the week, knowing, okay, we got a game this day, so we're going to do this. Then after the games, we're going to do that. And obviously, if you're not in a professional environment, you look after that yourself, you know what I mean? Also, knowing the right training, when to do the right training, asking people questions if you don't know what the right training is for you as an individual. There's one or two players who have reached out to me, like, they're playing lower level and they want to get to a higher level. So that's also a challenge, because some players come into us and they're already on a higher level, and you're just trying to make them better at the highest level. And then there are some players who are like, don't really know what to do to kind of like get to the next level. So yes, what I will say is like more training isn't always better. Smart training. Some people say to me like I'm a overload. Like, You haven't even done anything yet. Do you know what I mean? So you can't call it an overload if the car's not loaded. The car can be overloaded when it hasn't been loaded. So you need to load up the car full before it gets overloaded. You need to put in the whoop during the week. It can't be using all the fancy wood that you see in the Premier League. I've had an overload week. What? Mate, you haven't even trained. You haven't even done any proper training 4 or 5 times a week. If you're not training 4 or 5 times a week, you're not overloaded. The human body can do a lot. The human body can bend and flex ridiculously well. So, yes, more training isn't better. Now, there's different ways of talking. We're talking about the methodology from a physical point of view, but also like a technical point of view and everything. Definitely smart training is always better than more training. What about yourself?
Yeah, I feel the same. Being smart with your training is so much better than just putting in a load and load of training sessions and a load of work. Because you have to be also able to listen to your body. You throw in a load of work and train 7 days a week because you think the more training I do, the better I'm going to get. Your body's only going to be able to keep up for so long before it goes, right, I've had enough. This is not working. This is putting too much stress on your muscles, on your ligaments, on your bones. And then that's how you pull up with injuries. You have to be smart and understand, right, listen to your body's like, right, I didn't get a great sleep last night, so I won't go out and train with mad match intensity. I'll be smart and I'll just work on passing, receiving, shooting. I'll just do an easy light session. You have to be able to listen to your body and listen to what it's telling you to know when to train with high intensity and when to kind of just work on the technical aspects.
Okay, brilliant. The next one is planning around matches.
Yeah, it's huge for a good match day for players. Like, I know I'd be the kind of player that would plan for my matches 3 days in advance. I'd be packing, like, let's say our last training sessions on a Thursday and our matches on the Saturday. Thursday night after training, I'm packing my bag for match. I'm getting everything ready. Friday, the whole of Friday, I'm making sure I'm drinking plenty of water to keep my body hydrated, eating the right food, fueling myself, and then match day just before the match, you're making sure you're eating something filling, but it's light and it's not going to sit in your stomach for too long and hold you down and kind of make you feel a little bit sloppy. And then even that, you're still drinking plenty of water. It's huge change in my game that I've only started doing the past 3 years, but it's taken me to a next level, and my motivation and how I move in matches now has changed hugely because of that.
Yeah, brilliant. Planning around matches, players, parents, so important that you fail to prepare to fail. So plan around your matches in any kind of form, shape or form. Eat well, look after yourself, sleep well, start prepping, like you said, 2 days, whatever before, like from the start of the week. So when I finish an event, it's like reading a book and closing a chapter. Once I finish an event, 24 hours, I give myself 24 hours to do whatever I need to do, whatever madness that you need to do, if it's food or whatever. After that 24 hours, you start switching your mode into the next event. So the preparation for the next event starts 24, 40, after 48 hours after the previous event, you're reading the next chapter, you're going to the next chapter. So yes, for serious players that want to go to the next level, you want to start your preparation from the get-go, from the beginning of the week, and then start working towards it. But don't over-celebrate, because sometimes I work with a lot of players that over-celebrate. When they do something at the weekend, they're like still enjoying it like for the rest of the week. Come on. Do you know what I mean? So, 24 hours, enjoy it, then start tuning in and start getting ready for the next competition we have ahead of us. So, should I lift weights is one of the questions. Right. On this one, age specific. That's why, giving your kids, if they're teenagers or a certain age, doing like S&Cs, going to S&C coaches and stuff like that. Because, say, for example, us and stuff like that in academies, private academies, going to an S&C coach as well will help as well. We try and give the players what we can in the day that we have them. But going to an S&C coach to kind of teach them the mechanics and stuff like that of doing certain things at a younger age is not a bad idea. But there's no doubt about it that strength training is becoming a huge part of football. So when they're younger, they're kind of learning movement, how to move their body. Because a lot of young players don't get to do what people done 20 years ago, where they were always moving around, jumping around, climbing things. So even if they can go into SNC, young SNC trainers that have like junior kind of like classes and stuff like that, where they teach them movement and how to squat and how to do push-ups and all those kind of stuff. But we do have it as part of our curriculum, but not a lot of our private academies we have qualified SNC coaches in it. So, but I'm a big believer of movement, speed, strength, and all those things. But yes, you do need to get them in early to kind of learn how to do movement. And as they get to like the likes of 12, 13, 14, then they'll start lifting, in a safe way. But don't let your kid go to a gym without someone showing them how to do it correctly, even for at least 6 to 8 weeks. Because some of these young players want to just go into the gym and they see something on YouTube, bang, I'm going to bang out this weight. But if you're not doing sport-specific exercises in the gym, it's actually going to slow you down. So you'll be doing the opposite. You're not a bodybuilder. You're a performance athlete. So, yes, when they get to like the last of 12, 13, going forwards, they will need to start going in, preparing their body for lifting, but like with an SNC coach or a trainer that can guide them and show them how to do it correctly. And that's from 12 onwards to adults. And then when they're younger, it's more about movement. What about yourself, Ocean?
Yeah, I think what you said is bang on. I think it's key to get the kids in and understand how their body moves and in the ways their body can move, and to keep that kind of flexibility and movement up from a young age all the way up. Kind of, if you allow them to kind of start in a gym by themselves at 16, like you said, kids can just tend to train like a bodybuilder, thinking, I have to be big in the arms, big in the shoulders, to be ripped to be a professional footballer, and end up training too much and lifting too much weights and weights that are too heavy. And then they just become top heavy, and that's where you see a likes of ACL injuries, knee injuries, because they're carrying too much up top and it's too much on their legs for football. So I think getting the kids into some sort of S&C coach at a young age and keeping them through it to understand how their body moves and to keep that movement and flexibility up is key for players nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, the last question we're going to take from this one is every serious player should do this week.
Eat well throughout the week, yeah.
Get a good night's sleep. Make sure you're getting good sleep, so you're going to be coming in the next day with bags and bags of energy. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Modern Legacy Podcast. If you found today's conversation valuable, we'll really appreciate if you subscribed, left a review, and shared this episode with another player, parent, coach, or someone who's passionate about football. You can also watch a full video on our YouTube channel. Listen to us on Spotify and all major platforms where we release it, and read our latest articles over on Modern Legacy Academy website. Follow us on social media for weekly coaching tips, player development content, and exclusive podcast clips. The Modern Legacy podcast is proudly sponsored by Aquesta Sports, your official teamwear partner. Until next time, keep learning, keep improving, and remember, success isn't built in a day. It's built through what you consistently do every single day. We will see you on the next episode.